Welcome to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Brian will be along shortly. I'm Mr. Producer, and I want to make sure that you are setting aside some of your profits from the season for continuing education, for investing back into yourself and your team. One way to do this is through the training courses, videos, and modules offered at lawentrepreneur.academy.com. When you visit the site, and I'll make sure that there's a link in the podcast description, what I would like for you to do is to click on the store link and take a look around. Make a note of what interests you or what you think the guys on your crew would benefit from. Then come back on Black Friday and Cyber Monday for our best deals of the year.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, you know that we love doing solo podcast episodes, and we also love doing great guest interviews. And today, we've got a great guest interview for you guys lined up. Hanging with me today, we've got Dennis Joseph joining us all the way from beautiful Indiana. Good morning, brother. How are we doing today?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Just getting the day going over here. We're just getting the podcast recorded first thing in the morning. I got a busy afternoon with the kids and the wife, and got a bunch of great stuff going on, but wanted to make sure that we'd take time. Sometimes we chisel these out first thing in the morning or late night at nights. You guys are busy. We're busy. But we love getting guests on the show, and sometimes this is the only way to do it, you know. But what do you guys got going on today, brother?
Getting the dump trailer wrapped up and ready to go for leaf season. I got a new impeller to put on the debris loader, but she's pretty much ready to go.
Yeah. Are the leaves starting to fall by you guys over there, Indiana?
Yeah, they just started to turn last week, but this cold front that came through last night, they're really starting to come down.
I was saying the exact same thing. We're coming back from the golf outing that we did for Troy Clog with Hot Pink de-icer and Hot Pink helpers. And as I was driving home, like all the leaves were falling all over the place. I'm like, and here we go, you know? So it's going to be awesome, man. Some good money in fall leaf cleanups if you guys do it right. But
oh, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, we're going to tell you a story today and get a little bit of, boots in the ground, what's going on, latest and greatest in Indiana. Where exactly are you at in Indiana? If anybody's listening to the show, maybe locally to you and wants to network, where are you guys located, and how'd you get started in business, brother?
Work in Terre, Haute. I live just outside of Terre, Haute. I know a lot of people have a hard time pronouncing it the way it's spelled, but it's pronounced Terre, Haute. But yeah, I got started. I mean, really, my story goes back all the way to, being a young kid, really. But I got started full time when I took over my dad's company, it was in March last year. He's just getting up there in years and was tired of it and couldn't keep up with it.
Okay. Yeah. How long was that company around for? But previously,
he started that. I want to say it was either in like mid 2008 or the very beginning of 2009.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't 12 or 13 years old, but yeah, I worked for him off and on, as a kid growing up. And then I had a couple of yards in the neighborhood I did myself. And then, I got into high school and I had a small route, maybe 12, 15 yards that I did by myself outside of school. And then a couple of full-time jobs after school, kept doing that. Took a job at working for GE actually as a machinist and then an assembler. So I quit mowing. And then when COVID happened, lost my job. So,
oh, wow.
Kind of bounced around a little bit, went to work for Dad full-time. And he came to me after the end of that winter last year, and he offered me all of the equipment at a wholesale price. And then he didn't have any contracts or anything, just contact a list of phone numbers that I had to. Some of them I knew, some of them I had to go introduce myself to and explain to them that I'd been on their property already multiple times, and they just didn't know.
Right. Working for your dad. How old are you now?
Just turned 26 last month.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay. So was the goal to always take over your dad's company, or was it like you said, just right place, right time? Like,
it just kind of dropped in my lap. I mean, I didn't have a better plan in place, so it seemed like a good fit and been working.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, is that something like you wanted to eventually take over anyway? Because like he had been running this for 10 plus years. What was his involvement in the industry? Like, was he, hey, one day I got to hang this thing up, or was it more like a health thing? I gotta get rid of this thing.
I don't know. It's more like he couldn't find good help, which he was not very easy to work for. So that's probably had a little something to do with it. But he could never find or keep good, consistent help. I mean, I can still remember when I was still in school, waking up at 6:30 in the morning. Hey, bub, I need you to come help me mow today. Because, guys not showing up. And so I think that was most of it. It was just a lot of the way he ran things. It was just a lot of stress on him, and he was just tired of it.
He was done with it. That's awesome. Well, then you guys came to an agreement and took over the company. It sounds like, what was that, 2 years ago? It sounded like, or a couple years ago?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago now. It was in March of 22.
Okay. And how have things been since then? What are you guys doing day to day? What's the company look like right now?
Doing a lot of mowing, but I'd say about half my revenue comes from all of the additional, mulch, spring cleanup, fall cleanup, shrub trimming. We pretty much stick to maintenance. I've done a couple of smaller installs, nothing more than about a $3,500 ticket, really.
Oh, wow.
Trying to stay in one lane for now until I can kind of get my bearing and figure out what I am doing here. Because I really had no sense of business before I took over. I've learned so much in the last year or so from, your podcast, everybody else's podcast, like Almond's podcast, Jeremiah Jennings, and then there's another, Andy Wines has a trash talk podcast. I learned a lot from that one. He's a junk removal guy, but I learned a lot of stuff on his show too.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. I haven't heard of that one, but I'll have to check that out. That's awesome. What when you say learn a bunch for business, what quantify that for me? Like what did you struggle on before that maybe some of those guys helped you fill in the cracks, and then what's some of the topics and conversation you like hearing about?
Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Right marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack makes snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Right marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors, orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-right.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA.
A lot of it is just learning numbers, like how you guys break down charging for things, learning not to give away time, considering everything when your job costing, like, it's one thing, just consider, hey, here's how much the mulch costs, here's how much labor is going to cost. You got to think, breaking down the cost of each piece of equipment being there and what I should be charging. Things like that.
That's awesome.
It's just so many, it's little things. I'm learning a lot of little things.
Well, let me ask you this. As the company's continued to grow the last 18, 24 months, what is the company looking like today? What are you guys doing? More residential, more commercial, more maintenance? No right or wrong answer, obviously, but what does the company look like today?
Mostly residential. I've got a few commercials. At the very beginning of this year, I took on a contract with a property manager. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but because it's outside of my service area. So I'm locked in with them until the end of the year. But, mostly residential and just maintenance. According to my books right now, we're going to be hitting somewhere around 110 top line this year, I think, anyway.
That's awesome. Is that all solo or with any help?
I've got one full-time guy helping me. During the busy season, it's 45, 50 hours a week, but right now it's been 25 to 30 hours a week in the field. And then of course I've got maintenance and things at home, but
yeah, that's awesome.
He's pretty flexible about it. So
cool. What, where did you find help? Where did you find him? Like a cousin or brother? Yeah.
He was actually working for my dad. And so he's a great guy. I love working with him. He's dead reliable and everything. He's just not really quite the guy I can turn loose on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So I did hire another guy at the beginning of this season, and of course I spent 2.5 months training him, and then he found something better.
Oh.
As soon as I could, they were about a week. I let them loose for about a week without me in the field, and then he quit.
No, that's frustrating.
Back to square one.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few folks have had some great guys come and go, unfortunately, this year, and or have to replace a couple different guys, if you will, on the crew. If you guys are coming to Launchpreneur Academy Live, a little plug for LAL, you can still get your tickets until I think the November 6th. The early bird registration's over, but it's $249 a ticket. Still a tremendous value. But Leroy Maines, he's the co-host of the Green Grind podcast. He lost a couple, like his right-hand guy, a couple like key foreman people, and he had to, he's got an established company doing $1 million, and that was a big blow, just to like, not like morale of the company, but maybe just morale of the owner, losing your right-hand guy. And he replaced him and a couple other great folks, and was able to backfill that. And, now his company's springboarded forward, which is just awesome. So that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to have him come on in to share and talk about. But that can be challenging when you lose somebody like that. That's why we say do whatever you can to get good people, and then do whatever you can to keep good people, But
right.
Yeah. So you guys are doing mostly maintenance and some landscape jobs. What kind of equipment are you guys running over there, by the way, in Terre, Haute, Indiana? Is it Skag, Hustler, Exmark, Toro? What are you guys rocking over there?
This is Gravely country out here.
Really? No way.
That's 90% of what you're going to see on a trailer is a Gravely.
Is that?
Wow. That's because we have 2 bigger dealerships in town, really, which is kind of funny. When my dad got out of the business, he went to work for the one that I get all of my stuff from. But they sell exclusively Gravely. They used to have a couple of other brands in there. I wish they would carry Echo because I hate going anywhere else. But I'm not a huge fan of steel equipment either. But yeah, we really don't have. We've got a couple of like other dealers like further out from around us. But yeah, we're 90% Gravely out here. So I had 2 Gravely 460s. I bought a used Bradley 36 stand-on, which they're made up there right outside of Kankakee, Illinois, I think. And then all of the other, smaller handheld stuff, all Echo. I just got 2 new Echo 9010s together to give me 4. So
that's awesome. We don't see a ton of Gravely over here. I know a lot of guys run Gravely across the country, but we just did not have any luck with the demos that we had up here. And cutting Kentucky Blue and
yeah, they're not great with the fescues. I've noticed on Zoysia they cut really well. We do have some Zoysia around here, but
really, okay. Yeah.
I do wish they cut a little bit better, but they're built like freaking tanks. I haven't.
Yeah.
My guy, he's a little rough on the mower he uses, and honestly, I broke mine more than he has his. I don't know, but they're both sitting a little over 1,000 hours on them, and you can't tell they're still new mowers.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They are built like tanks. We had the Pro Turn 460 or whatever it was, and it was a cool machine. It was really neat. It just it didn't cut very well up here, unfortunately. But then I know guys down south or southeast, they love it. They swear by them. That's all they run exclusively. So I'm always like, I'd love to do more with the Aaron's brand, especially the snow blowers, right? But it's tough because I'm just like, hey, it just doesn't cut our grass, and I got to be honest. I'm like, I can't. I'm not going to market something that I don't use or doesn't cut well. And a lot of guys that have had them up here have sold them off. They're like, I bought this Gravely, it doesn't cut well. I'm like, well, you should have watched at least 1 or 2 YouTube videos. I called a spade on my videos, but not to throw the Gravely team under the bus. Somebody's right now, punching the radio. Mine cuts great. All right. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers this morning. So we're just talking, but that's awesome. So as you guys as you've grown, where do you want to take the company, over the next couple of years? You seen where Pops have gotten, taking it to, and then you're carrying the baton now. Where do you plan to take things over the next couple of years?
I'm not really as focused on a revenue, like top line revenue, because I'm not really necessarily married to the idea of doing lawn care and landscaping. Really, I've learned a lot about entrepreneurship lately, and I think this would be just a good springboard, after the next 5 or 10 years or whatever.
Okay.
But I want to get to a net personal income of, north of 120 a year, say. But I'm more focused on, I want to make a good income, but I don't want to necessarily be in the field.
Yeah. Yep.
I've realized over the last 2 years, I don't really like sweating that much. I like enjoying my summers. So, I like to get out there and work and all that, but I want to get to the point where if I get hurt or sick or something, I don't have to worry about it. I've got a machine running without me.
Sure.
So that's my greater focus before, as long as I'm making a comfortable living, I'm fine.
That's awesome. What other businesses are you looking at, or do you want to get into? Like,
I don't really know. I kind of like the idea of finding a product, or, kind of like what Mulchmate is, or some of the stuff that Ballard's, like Sean Spencer, he just made his own shoot blocker. I kind of want to find something a little more niche like that. Because that's what I do. Like, all my shoot blockers I made myself. My blower racks I built myself, because I couldn't find something that I liked on the market. Just like I bought a equipment defender rack for one of my 9010s, and there's nothing wrong with the rack. It's just not what I wanted. So I'm going to wind up building my own. So that's the way my head is wired. I like to build things and, fill in the gaps of things where, there's nothing on the market for it.
Yeah, that's I talk to Corey Ballard and all the time, and building something or patenting something or designing something and getting a patent on it, a utility patent on it, including like Nick Carlson's Mulchmate. Just fantastic ideas. It takes a lot of effort. I was just talking to a gentleman the other day. He wanted to see what it cost to, quote unquote, do a sponsored video on YouTube, and the big companies, they all have big budgets, and they're like, as long as it makes sense, it makes sense. And, frankly, that's how it works with our YouTube channel. If outside of the vlogs, me running my business, if anybody wants to showcase something, we'll highlight it, sure. But, obviously we got a couple 100,000 subscribers, put a little toll booth, on the road. Hey, you want to show it to 10, 20, 50,000 people, pony up, a couple bucks. Well,
yep.
Most of those companies, they get it. It's just marketing. It's just another form of advertising for them. And that's awesome. And then you guys get to see it, and you get to kind of see it like in real world use. But I was talking to another gentleman, and our rate's like 1/20th of what it would normally cost. And I said, hey, it's just like a minimum cost to kind of have me produce a video, man. It's just my time involved in it. But he's coming through, and we'll be filming a video, I think, on a week or so from now. And it was funny because you could just hear it in his voice. He was a little exhausted, He's like, man, he goes, I designed the product for the last couple of years, but to get the distributors and the manufacturing and the design and get it produced. And he's like, I'm trying to shop for warehouse space right now. He's like, rates are ridiculous. And I'm like, yeah. I said he's almost, and we started almost at the same time. Like, designing the product is usually like 1/10 of the battle, and actually getting it out to the customers, or marketing it, or customer service. That's really where.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Corey was talking about that. It's been the last couple of weeks on one of his shows that he wasn't really complaining, but he was saying, guys come to me with these ideas all the time, and they just don't understand everything that's involved. And I have a little bit of a background just working in manufacturing, not necessarily making anything myself. So I know it's a whole. That's a giant machine to get moving.
Yeah. What would they say? Like a high volume, low margin, but if you sell 1 million units, hey, cool. You make $1 on a widget. That's a pretty good stream of income. But And that's why a lot of guys too take designs and products to Corey or some of the other great companies that are accessory businesses, because they have that network or the design guys or the patent team or the copywriters and the customer service agents. It's a lot, but for some of you guys that are, looking to do that or take some widget to Echo or some widget to Boss, snowplows. I mean, I think that is such an awesome idea because so many of us, maybe less or so myself, but so many of you guys listening in are very like crafty, ingenuitive, engineering, farming type, and come up with these great ideas. And that's where I feel like a lot of the industry's innovation has come from, was like from the bottom up, not from the top down, So
right.
Don't give any away of your $1 million Shark Tank ideas on the podcast, okay? Because we got a lot of listeners. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I texted Sean the other day. I said, "How's sales going?" He said, "Sales are going strong." And I said, "That's awesome." So it's if you want to bring some stuff like that in house and build your own thing, hey man, all the better. But I love what you said about having multiple businesses, multiple sources of income, and at least you have a lifestyle income goal that you're looking for to pay the bills and provide a little cushion there. So that's awesome, man. Let's butt it up right here because I actually got to pull the e-brake a little bit. I got to shift gears myself. Got to get moving, take the little kiddos to soccer practice. That's a whole nother season and phase of our life here. But thanks for taking a quick minute this morning. Where can people find you? And then any parting thoughts that you want to share with these guys, man? But I just wish you guys nothing but continued success. And it's exciting to see another person growing and making this thing work.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not huge on the social media front. I've got a Facebook and a website and stuff. I don't. Just recently, I've put a boot in my own ass to finally, be active on Facebook like I should be.
Yeah.
But it's clearcutlawncare.com or Clear Cut Lawn Care on Facebook. Maybe I should probably get an Instagram. I don't know. The app's on my phone. I just never get on it.
There you go. What? Let me ask that. Yeah. What's the best piece of advice you got, or best thing you've learned in business the last couple of years that have really helped you shift gears and change your mindset?
Honestly, it's all about dealing with people, I think, and that's the hardest thing I've been learning, and I'm still working on it. Is just I have a good customer service, I think, but it's just learning people and selling to people and managing people is just. As soon as you think you've got something figured out, you realize you don't.
Yeah, I hear you there. Well, quantify one example. I won't put you on the hot seat, but give me one example where maybe you thought you were a 10 and you realized, hey, maybe I'm a self-professed 10, but maybe I'm a 3, or you did something and you're like, man, I would have handled that totally different. Any glaring examples that we can quantify?
I think I missed out on a pretty decent. Like a parking pad with a small, like retaining wall type job. I mean, it was a very small job earlier this summer, just because it took me like 2 weeks to get back to the guy with the quote, and he just kind of fell off the face of the earth. And I realized that I really shouldn't be taking 2 weeks to get back on a little quote, but just being more organized and faster to get back with people. My whole life I've just been like, you just kind of leave me alone. I just kind of leave you alone. So now I have to realize, hey, I got to be in people's face. I got to be there and take care of problems right now.
Yeah, I love it, man. It might not be our personality type, but business is cutthroat, and
yeah,
business is a battle. It's a war, or it doesn't have to be, but at the end of the day, it can be. And it can distill down into that. So even though if you're more laissez-faire, more chill, more hang loose, like I try to be like that all the time, but I also know, like, if I Mark Cuban said once, he goes, if you don't think that I'm not thinking 24 hours a day on how to take your customers and to take your market share, you're crazy. Not a big Mark Cuban fan, actually. That's a whole nother story. But at the end of the day, just because I don't like him doesn't mean he doesn't say good things, so that's awesome. But
right.
Yeah, it's I'm right there with you, man. Quick quote turnaround is a must. Liz and I know when we get a new commercial quote, we pull the e-brake on everything around our life because, I'm like, I just need a half hour. I got to chop this quote out right now and get it back because, speed is feed over here. And we got to get that back to that customer. So, yeah, that's a great one, man. I love it. All right, brother. Well, hey, super appreciate taking time this morning. I know it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon over here, or Saturday morning over here. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and we're going to go do soccer and then do some home selections, and then hopefully go pumpkin pick. So that's our weekend. Anything you got going on today? Hopefully a chill day for you guys, or are you guys out there working?
Yeah, I'll be getting this trailer wrapped up, and honestly, I'll probably be doing the same thing with my own kid.
I love it.
He's been bugging me for the last few days. When are we going to go get pumpkins?
Yeah. I'm not the only one. How many kids you got? 1 or 2, or how many you got?
I've got one little girl. She's about 6.5 now.
That's awesome. Perfect age. Yeah.
Yeah, she's spunky for sure. Keep you on your toes.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. That's ours is 2 years old, and she is 100% in charge of the house, if you know what I'm saying. So it's never a dull moment. But every morning she wakes up, she goes, "Pumpkin, please, pumpkin." So we're doing our best to like kick that one down the road a couple of days. We've just been so tied up. But I'm like, it's the weekend. We got to slow down and make sure we go get a pumpkin today. So yeah, dude, have fun with that. Good reminder though, if you guys aren't getting your leaf boxes set up, now's a good time to start getting your designs finished up and start mounting those things, because we're going to need them before you know it here. Another couple of weeks doing leaf cleanups. I love it. All right, brother. Well, hey, thanks so much for taking time to be on the show this morning, man. And guys, give him a follow. Check him out on Facebook at least. And if he gets his Facebook rocking and roll, we'll make sure to update that as well. All right. Dennis, thanks again for taking time to be on the show, brother. Super appreciate it.
Yep. Hey, I'll see you in November.
All right, man. Eliel, you coming up there?
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah, brother. Awesome. Hey, well, that's a great way to end it. If you guys didn't get your ticket yet for Eliel, make sure you get that ASAP. Tickets go off sale November 6th. But right now we're trending on 400 folks to come up there, guys. It's going to be the biggest event we've done this year. And hey, come check it out. Come figure out why. It's inside secret. It's one of the best conferences that you guys can attend this year. So can't wait to see you guys there, and come hang out with Dennis, myself, and everybody else. All right, guys, over and out. You guys have a beautiful rest of the day, and we look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Installing traditional snow stakes is time-consuming, expensive, and downright dangerous. Traditional fiberglass stakes cost as much as double, take twice as long to install, not to mention fiberglass splinters. That's where Plow-Rite marking stakes come in. Our patented installation tool and carrying pack make snow stake installation a breeze, installing up to 450 stakes an hour. Want the fastest and best snow stake system on the market? Look no further than Plow-Rite marking stakes. Our stakes are made of hollow polypropylene, which will not crack, break, or splinter like traditional fiberglass stakes. 3 size options, 26, 36, and 46 inches, and 5 standard colors: orange, green, blue, red, and hot pink. Want more visibility than our standard stakes? Look no further than our reflective stakes, which sport a 2-inch 3M reflective band that is the highest grade reflective material ever put on a snow stake. Truly let your stakes be seen. Visit plow-rite.com and order yours today. And make sure to use Brian's 10 to save 10% at checkout. The link is in the podcast description. And best of all, everything is 100% made in the USA. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.